Welcome to Lydia's Lunch Bunch, Western Maine edition with Mark and Pam, where we spotlight the people, businesses, and stories shaping communities in Oxford, Norway, South Paris, West Paris, and beyond. We're expanding the conversation while keeping the same mission, highlighting the people making a difference in our region. Feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 4 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com, and remember, the party starts at Ruper's.
Coming up in just a bit, we're going to play our interview with Western Maine Private Garden Tours, Kimberly Poland and Corey Kotfila, who are also heavily involved with McLaughlin Garden. They're going to share some information on that as well. Before we get there, let's take a look at some headlines for Wednesday, July 15th.
Maine's delegation of Senators Collins and King and Representatives Pingree and Golden are calling for a comprehensive, transparent, and expedited investigation into the fatal shooting of 26-year-old Johann Sebastian Guerrero by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Biddeford. Guerrero was not the target of the arrest warrant.
The city of Lewiston will introduce a new cart-to-curb trash and recycling collection system this fall. All residents will be required to use new carts, which in most cases will be picked up by a mechanical arm and dumped into a split-body truck that takes trash and recycling at the same time. The change reflects an industry-wide shift in prioritizing worker safety.
The Maine Bureau of Consumer Credit Protection is cautioning residents of a new financial product called a shared appreciation mortgage, also referred to as home equity investment. The products are marketed as a way for homeowners to access cash without taking on additional monthly payments, but they can lead to high or unexpected costs. For more information, visit maine.gov.
And the Auburn Recreation Department's Movies in the Park continues next Thursday, July 23rd at Festival Plaza. Attendees will be treated to a viewing of the PG-rated National Treasure at 7 p.m. Admission is free. There will also be free popcorn and other treats. For more information, visit the city's Facebook page. Now it's time for the weather.
Rain or shine, it's all okay. Grab your uke and start the day. You don't need perfect skies above. Hey, just a song and a little love.
Yesterday and this morning seemed a little ominous in the sky, didn't it?
Yeah, but we didn't get the extreme weather they were predicting.
No, I was actually looking forward to the thunder boomers and
Sherry
the
was
lightning
too.
show.
Yeah.
Not at midnight, though. I saw that it was calling for it at midnight, but
Yeah,
it didn't
and there
happen.
were like tornado watches all over the state, too.
But the weather says mostly sunny today with a high of 82 and a low of 67. Sunny tomorrow with a chance of afternoon showers, a high of 80 and low of 60. Sunny on Friday with a high of 78 and a low of 56.
In sports, the American League beat the National League 4-0 in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. It was the first All-Star Game shutout since 2013.
Oh.
All 3 Red Sox selections played. Wilson Contreras got a base hit. Aroldis Chapman retired both batters he faced in the 9th inning, and Cedar Rafaela went hitless in 2 at-bats. Cody Bellinger of the stinking New York Yankees was named the most valuable player.
That stinking Yankee.
They're the worst.
In the World Cup semifinals, Spain beat France 2-0. Spain advances to the final and will play the winner of this afternoon's match between England and Argentina.
That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it's time for the podcast segment that is Sweeping the Twin Cities. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for July the 15th, shall we?
Sure.
Let's start off with Brian Austin Green.
I know him.
You know him.
Yeah.
He played David Silver on Beverly Hills 90210.
I loved that show back in the day.
Back in the day. That was the original. That's why Brian is 53.
They did bring that back. I watched a little bit of it. It was like they were spoofing on themselves.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So David Silver was now married to this famous singer. who he was married to Megan.
Yes, he
Megan
was
Fox.
married to Megan Fox.
So it was like similar. I mean, I think it was a singer. Maybe it was an actress in the show. But like, so everybody had a little spoof of what their real life was in this new 90210. I didn't get very far into it because it was terrible, but...
Brigitte Nielsen, 63 years old today. She played Red Sonja. She also played Ivan Drago's wife in Rocky IV. And Flavor Flav's love interest, well, I shouldn't say love interest because they were mutually attracted to each other on the Surreal Life 3.
All right. I don't know who that is.
Then they had a spin-off called Strange Love. Forrest Whitaker, 65 years old today. He won an Academy Award for Best Actor for his portrayal of Ugandan dictator Idi Amin in the historical drama The Last King of Scotland. His film debut was Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982. He was the football player who they took his car out and ended up trashing it. And then they blamed it on the other team. And then he went out and just demolished the opponents, absolutely. Marky Ramone is 74 years old today. He replaced original drummer Tommy Ramone in the Ramones in 1978. The Ramones were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in their first year of eligibility in 2002, and they received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2011. Rounding out FPBs for July the 15th is the legendary Linda Ronstadt, who is 80 years old today.
Big 80.
Yes, she is a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer and responsible for the formation of the Eagles. Original members Don Henley, Glenn Fry, Randy Meisner, and Bernie Leadon were all members of her backing band.
Well, another great band that I never really listened to.
Yeah. There you go. A little piece of trivia for you.
There you go.
Those are your FPBs. Now it's time for some OTDs. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. It happened on this day.
14 years ago in 2012, Gangnam Style by Psy debuted on YouTube. Since then, the video has attracted well over, listen here, folks, 5.9 billion, with a B, billion views.
That's crazy.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you, when Gangnam Style was all the rage, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm not into it. It's not my thing. And then I'm like, well, I should check it out just 'cause. And I watched the video probably 5 times in a row afterwards. I'm like, that is one catchy tune. So I don't hate it.
What else do they do?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But when you have a video with nearly 6 billion views, what else do you have to do?
You're like, we're done. We're going to just stop while we're ahead.
Yeah, hang it up.
17 years ago in 2009, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince was released.
Was that a good one?
I love all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'll just go back and watch them just 'cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. 19 years ago in 2007, The Rock of Love with Bret Michaels debuted on VH1. Is that a reality show?
Yeah. When Brett tries to find love.
Did not see that.
Brett was the lead singer of Poison and apparently single at the time. So when you're single and you're kind of famous and a D-list celebrity,
Let's do this.
you do a love show.
Do a reality show.
Just like Flavor Flav did with The Flavor of Love.
Jeez. 28 years ago in 1998, There's Something About Mary was released.
Never saw that one.
Oh, jeez. That's a great movie.
Is it really?
It is. It is pretty hilarious. I like it. 32 years ago in 1994, Hulk Hogan admitted under oath in a New York courtroom that he did more than eat his vitamins and say his prayers to get his 22-inch pythons. In other words, Hogan admitted that he had used steroids between the years of 1976 and 1989 to, quote, get big.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I thought he was clean.
Yeah.
I thought he was 100% natural. Or natty, as they call it in the biz.
Eat the Flintstone vitamins and say your prayers and you'll be good. 38 years ago in 1988, the first Die Hard was released, which is now a classic Christmas movie.
Why would you release a Christmas movie in July?
Because it wasn't supposed to be a Christmas movie.
Gotcha. All right. Just checking. Those are your FPBs and OTDs for July the 15th.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the LA area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Looking for a vehicle, but don't love the car shopping experience? At K&R Auto Sales on Center Street in Auburn, Frankie Campbell is known as your friend in the car business. That means no pressure, honest conversations, and helping you find the right vehicle for your budget and your life. Stop by K&R Auto Sales today and see how easy buying a car can feel when you've got a friend on your side. Mark and JC taking the show on the road once again. It is Lydia's Lunch Bunch Western Maine edition, and we want to give a big shout out to Nancy Cushman, who is offering up her boardroom to us here today at Speedway Inc., as we have two very special guests in the boardroom. We are joined by President of Poland Media Group. She's also a board member at McLaughlin Garden and a programming committee member at McLaughlin Garden. Kimberly Poland, how are you?
Good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. I can't believe I nailed your intro.
You did such a great job. It's like you know what you're doing.
We are also joined by horticulturist at McLaughlin Garden, Corey Kotfila. How are you?
I'm good.
We're going to start off today by talking about the Western Maine Private Garden Tours.
So excited to tell you about it. 9 distinctive gardens in Western Maine. Folks that are ticketed to attend will get to go to. It's a self-guided tour, and what that means simply is that they're going to come to McLaughlin Garden and Homestead the morning of August 1st, gather their ticket, which will include a map and details of where to go, and they will be able to go to each of those 9 gardens and spend as much or as little time at each one of them as they choose to, and ask the homeowners questions about their garden, any questions they have about the plants, their theory of how to design their landscape. The tour does start at McLaughlin Gardens, so Corey will be there to answer any questions that the attendees have about our space and gardening in general that he's able to help out with, which as a horticulturist, he has all the answers.
Check out the big brain on Corey.
Yeah. So they'll check in with us at the garden and tour it, and then they'll move on. This year we have 3 different communities that our tour is across, which is South Paris, Norway, and then historic Paris Hill.
How did you guys select which gardens would be involved with this, and what makes them unique?
I'm going to let Corey talk to the different gardens, but each one is going to be a little bit unique, for sure. So our garden has its own uniqueness at McLaughlin Garden and Homestead. And then depending on which of the homes you go to, I do know that one of the tour gardens, there's a home that the homeowner has been there for 51 years. She has an extremely well-established garden that is a woodland setting, and she specializes in hostas, and I'm sure that that's not all, because I know on the description she also has things like climbing hydrangeas, which I'm a huge fan of, but she has an elaborate collection of hostas on property. And she spent 51 years working on that garden. So to answer your question, though, how did we select these gardens? We decided where we'd like to concentrate our efforts in Western Maine. This year, we wanted to keep things very central to the garden. So I think that you can travel from McLaughlin Garden, you can travel 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the most, to get to any one of these gardens. And they're all in fairly close proximity, because when you think of Western Maine, we could arrange for tours to be in Bethel, Waterford, Oxford, Otisfield. But this way, everything is very close together. You're not going to have to do a lot of driving, and you're going to get a lot of time in the gardens. So that's how we did select these.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just in our local area, we've had numerous folks who are interested in being on this tour, and of course we had to cut it off at 9. But there are plenty of other folks on Paris Hill and in Norway who have expressed interest. So goes to say, next year we could have a whole new selection of gardens in our area.
So what are folks going to see in these 9 gardens?
Yeah, so I want to keep some of that secret, of course,
okay.
So people can enjoy it day of. But I can at least speak from the McLaughlin Gardens perspective, of course, because I am the horticulturist there. So it'd be a little bit concerning if I didn't know what was growing in that garden.
It would be. You'd probably get called into the office.
I would be, yeah. I would probably have to have a talk with myself, which would also be concerning. But to that point, so the date is August 1st, so we're going to be experiencing all kinds of these mid to late summer plants, which include really pollinator-friendly species. So New York ironweed, various asters, Joe Pye weed, phlox in our woodland gardens. So some of these plants that really provide for our late season pollinators. So not only will you see beautiful flowers and plants, you'll also get to hang out with some friendly bees and insects in our pollinator garden. And then across some of the other gardens, we have really a diverse range, as Kimberly said, a diverse range of different gardening styles and gardening types and selections of plants, all the way from potted gardens, so annuals in pots arranged in beautiful displays, to hosta and shade gardens, to areas that really rely on their architecture to lend beauty to the garden. So beautiful stone walls and barns and this historic architecture. Both the spaces and the plants and the people on this tour are going to be quite diverse. So we're really excited for folks to enjoy everything this tour has to offer.
May I jump in with
Sure.
a couple of highlights that kind of stick out to me a little bit without giving it all away? One garden, I know that the homeowner has expressed to me that they have a honey locust tree that's over 200 years old. And I guess from what they've expressed to me, that there are people that seek out these older honey locust trees. So that is quite spectacular. And then there's another garden that comes to mind that it's so inspiring to me. I've been there, and there's not a place that doesn't have some sort of design element, whether it's the plants or the decor. And their use of both together and the creativity there is breathtaking. And then there's one other garden that speaks to me also as a highlight, that the views from their garden is quite amazing. And I've been there at sunset, and I was blown away. After, of course, going through the vast amounts of floral that they have at their space, which made me a little overwhelmed, because all I want to do then is go home and do the same thing. And what I always fail to keep in mind is that it's taken them years to get to this place in the space that they're working on.
Yeah, one plant at a time, Kimberly.
Exactly, one plant at a time. Is that what you do each day? One plant at a time?
I try.
Plus, Kimberly, you have garlic everywhere at your house, right?
You remember that?
I remember.
She just dropped off some garlic for me.
I dropped off garlic scapes, yes. Yes.
So, Corey, how did you get into horticulture?
Gosh, it was really just by happenstance. I pursued a degree for forestry at the University of Maine. At some point, I stopped looking up at the trees and started looking down at the herbaceous plants on the ground, and they really caught my attention. Gosh, it was probably halfway through my forestry career at the University of Maine in Orono, where I visited the Orono Bog, which, if you've never been, it is a highlight, bucket list item for sure. So it's a wetland area with peat moss that is covered in this bright red sphagnum moss, and there are pitcher plants and carnivorous sundews everywhere and orchids that are blooming. And I think that's when it really all clicked for me that I want to spend my time, all of my waking hours, with these plants. When I graduated, I moved down to this area and I saw that the McLaughlin Garden was hiring, and the rest was history.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about McLaughlin Garden. We covered the garden tour, but what about the area itself?
Yeah, so for folks who aren't familiar, the McLaughlin Garden is a public garden that was started around 1936. It was the former homestead of Bernard McLaughlin, and he was known as Maine's Dean of Gardens because while he wasn't a horticulturist or a gardener by trade, he was kind of a hobby gardener. And through years of collaborations with other plants people in the area and tireless work in the gardens, he grew them to be this incredible vernacular garden, meaning a garden that, everyone can appreciate, the common person's garden. There are, cottage aspects to it, as well as the lilac hedge, which I can talk about in a minute. But this garden really was kind of a gathering place for folks. He would always keep the garden gates open, and people could just saunter in, and if he was out there working in the garden, which chances are he was, he would give them a tour and show them around and show them what plants he was excited about. We, as the McLaughlin Foundation, which stewards this space, we try to embody that mindset and those core values of keeping this garden as a green space that all can enjoy and all can learn from. And if you've heard of the McLaughlin Garden, you probably have heard of us because of our Lilac Festival, which is a celebration that we have in May when all 200 lilacs that are planted out in the garden are blooming in unison. And it's just this spectacular event. You can smell those lilacs from a block away. And we also have the wildflower celebration, which is also in May. That's kind of our opening weekend, and it's when many of our spring ephemerals are blooming. So really unique plants like trillium and bloodroot and spring beauty, jack-in-the-pulpit. Some of these woodland plants that you wouldn't normally see in a garden setting are spread throughout the garden and all in bloom. So we just have these really unique collections of gardens, and also a ton of great programming throughout the season that folks can enjoy, whether you're, a grandparent or a young kid or somewhere in between. We have educational programming and musical events that all folks can attend and have fun at.
And a jack-o'-lantern festival.
And the jack-o'-lantern festival, which we've talked about. It's our one of our biggest events of the year, where we have around 600 pumpkins carved each year. Folks come out from the community to carve up pumpkins, and then we set those out in the garden at night, along with some really unique displays put together by our wonderful dedicated volunteer group. And all of those jack-o'-lanterns lit at the same time, and it's spectacular, which, it is called the Jack-o'-lantern Spectacular for a reason.
Yeah. I love how much you love your job.
It's a very special place, and every day I consider myself lucky to be a part of the McLaughlin story.
Kimberly, what inspired you to become so involved with McLaughlin Garden?
I remember when Mr. McLaughlin passed away. I remember him and him being here in the community and his home. And I remember when he passed away, and I remember the group that got together to save his property and develop the McLaughlin Foundation. And I remember the process. I was pretty young at the time, and I remember the process that they took to raise the funds. And they had like a thermometer meter out front of the building where they were raising the amount of money that they were going to need to purchase the property and then turn it into a nonprofit and maintain that as an open garden space for everybody to enjoy and for it to live on forever. And so fast forward to a few years ago, I went to an event at McLaughlin Garden, and I love gardening. I've done it my whole life. I love being around people that do gardening and learning from them. Everybody has their own different interest, and there's so much so many varieties to choose from of what you do in your own yard and what you work with. And so I went to an event at McLaughlin Garden and Homestead, and Leslie Gunther, who was at the time our board president, spoke to me about getting involved with McLaughlin Garden, coming on the board, and I accepted her invitation to get involved. I was honored, actually, to be asked to be involved with the garden. And it's a small nonprofit locally in the community that I grew up in. I grew up in West Paris, and it just means a lot to me to have this space maintained and keep it living on. I feel like it's one of these little special hidden gems in our community that once people learn about, they want to keep coming back to. And I feel like our team, Corey, Leslie, Virginia, everybody that works at the garden just is so invested and does such an incredible job to do the events that we do, the workshops we do, and just to keep the doors open and keep it essentially thriving and maintained. For a lot of people, this might be the only green space that they have available to come into a quiet park-like environment and enjoy. And possibly someone has, like, some of my favorite things at the garden to come and do each year. I love coming for the Sebago Long Lakes Music Festival in the barn. The acoustics are off the charts to me, with like 3 strings in there playing. It's just beautiful. And the gentleman that comes and does the mushroom
Frank
talk,
Hyman, yes.
Frank Hyman, he's an author, and he talks about like how to pick forage mushrooms out of the forest without killing yourself, like how to forage without dying or something like that.
How to forage mushrooms without dying.
And
That's important.
And Corey does a workshop at the beginning of the season on inoculating an oak log with mushrooms and growing them yourselves. And we have a local beekeeper that comes in and teaches adults and children about beekeeping. So for me to get involved came down to just supporting something that's very small in our community that really can impact so many, not just in our community, the entire state of Maine, any of our guests that are coming here as tourists. It's a good place to visit. And for me, I'm just honored to be part of it.
And I think now more than ever, there is something magical about putting your hands in the dirt and having something grow
There is.
from your work, especially when you see kids doing it.
Personally, for me, when I garden, I love that what I'm doing is going to create something. To me, it's beautiful. The art of putting your hands in the dirt, putting something in there and having it grow, no matter what it looks like. It's beautiful. Like my garlic patch, I think it's gorgeous. However, the flowers are much more engaging.
Yeah. What else should we know about McLaughlin Garden? And I had a question too about the garden tours. Do people need to make reservations for that? Do they just show up? How's that work?
So people can purchase their tickets online on our website, McLaughlinGarden.org. It's under our events page, and it's also plastered all over our homepage. So you'll see the link there. Okay. But folks can also certainly purchase a day of if they need to.
All right. Any parting thoughts about McLaughlin Garden that our listeners should know about?
I would just say that we are so grateful that these other 8 gardens opened, or these homeowners opened their gardens to the public, essentially for a benefit for the garden. There's just some really special places that folks will get to see, and we are just incredibly grateful that they want to be a part of this great organization and what we're trying to do.
The support that we received from the homeowners that signed on to be part of our garden tour was just absolutely amazing for us. They all wanted to support the garden and open their homes in such a generous way. There's a lot of work involved prepping your home for a garden tour, and they need to be there to answer questions. So there's a lot involved, but all of them, without hesitation, was just completely generous in their offer to do it. So we're very grateful for that. The only other thing that I would say that I don't know that we have mentioned about McLaughlin Garden is upcoming events outside of the garden tour. I mean, our focus right now is the garden tour. It's coming up August 1st. Tickets are available online to make your space reservation, but then we also have Garden Illuminated coming
Sure
up.
do.
We will definitely have Jack-o'-lantern Spectacular coming
Yes.
up.
Yep.
What am I missing, Corey?
We have some great programs on Thursdays. Thursday mornings, we have a collaboration with the library where we have events for kids. And I would just say check out our events page on McLaughlinGarden.org. We have a whole season of events still coming up, and we hope to see some folks there.
Two more things that I would mention. One is volunteer days, the propagation days.
Yep.
You're always looking for volunteers,
We sure
and
are.
they get to learn.
Yep, every
working
Friday.
side by side with you.
Yep, every Friday we have volunteer sessions, 9:30 to 11. And then every second Tuesday of the month, we have Power Propagators, which is another volunteer opportunity where folks can help us pot up plants that we've dug up from the garden, and then those will go on to be sold in next year's plant sale.
And the other thing is membership. If no one has ever explored membership at the garden, it's extremely reasonable. It's $50 a year. It gets you discounts at our store, discounts to certain events, access to our members only plant sale. And this year there's a reciprocal value as well that translates to 400 other gardens that you get to go to.
Yep. So we're now part of the American Horticultural Society network. So any other gardens that are participating in that network, we have reciprocity with. So if you have a membership with McLaughlin, you have the ability to go to those other almost 400 gardens across the U.S. For free entry, essentially. So yeah, not only for the benefits, but supporting a local nonprofit that is worth preserving. I think, membership is certainly worth considering.
Dirigo Federal Credit Union is proud to call Lewiston Auburn home. Whether you're buying a house, saving for the future, or growing your business, we're here for you, right where you live. Visit dirigofcu.com and feel the difference of a credit union that truly knows LA.
As both of you know, we like to close out the show with a segment called 3 Random Questions, where JC and I are going to ask you questions that have nothing to do with McLaughlin Garden. We're just trying to get to know you a little better. We'll start with Corey. Corey, if you could make a guest appearance on any television show or movie, what would it be and why?
I'd like to make a guest appearance on John Oliver. I think that I don't know what I would have to offer to add to his segments, but they said they could certainly make a story about me.
Yeah, he does a lot of skits too.
He does do a lot of skits, and I'm very easy to make fun of, so it would be perfect.
All right. So what is it? Last Week Tonight with John Oliver?
I believe, Last Week Tonight. Yes.
Okay. All right. Kimberly.
Oh my gosh. When you said this question, I thought, I'm all over the place. I go Dallas, the TV show Dallas.
I remember Dallas.
Wow, right? And then I think Saturday Night Live. And then I think Ina Garten. Like, I would love to be in the kitchen and cooking with her for her show. Like, that would be beautiful.
All right. But you got to pick one.
I know. Let's do Saturday Night Live because that is fun. And that would be challenging because that's such a creative group of people.
Would you like to host? Would you like to be part of one skit?
Oh, I definitely want to host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you could do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I'd want to host.
All right.
Don't let me sing though.
Okay.
Because that would, no.
Well, that leads me into my follow-up question. For it to be the perfect show on Saturday Night Live, who is the musical guest?
Freddie Mercury.
Oof. Oh my goodness. It's going to be the highest rated show in history. All right. Love it.
What's a trait that you admire seeing in somebody else?
Patience. And I wish that I potentially had more of that.
Okay, am I up?
Yep.
I think I would say I really admire humility. So folks who are able to be very humble and I guess unpretentious about themselves. I don't know, I think it takes a lot to see yourself that way, to be, to separate yourself from kind of ego.
Yeah. Final question, and we'll start with Corey. Corey, what did you learn about yourself during COVID?
during COVID, I learned that I didn't actually have that much going on. I was
Oh my gosh.
perfectly happy to hang out at home and read and garden and keep to myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a horticulturist, like COVID did not affect you all that much, right?
Not all that much. I was still able to get out there and enjoy the outdoors. You're all automatically social distancing when you're outside, so it didn't affect me as much as I know it affected some other people.
Yeah. Kimberly.
Oh, this question. What did I learn about myself during COVID?
Yeah.
So I learned that I was a lot bigger germaphobe than I realized. And I realized that when my hands were raw and bright red and like showing signs of constant cleansing. So that was a definite issue for me, that I learned about myself. So that was a challenge. Work was very busy during COVID for me. I didn't have the opportunity to get bored at all. And I think I maybe wish I had had a little bit more time. And I'm a little jealous of hearing Corey's time to kick back and relax and live in the outdoor space. But at the time of COVID, I was also living in Rhode Island, and I didn't have the space in Rhode Island that I have here in Maine that allows you, like, if I had been in Maine, I think I would have lived in my garden because I have one here, and that would have taken up as much time as I could have utilized. Thank you for having Corey go first, because I'm super jealous of listening to his. It sounds so peaceful and relaxing to me.
Corey was like, what COVID?
COVID was perfect.
Don't get me wrong, it was a traumatic time for all, but I was definitely able to weather it a little bit easier than some folks may have been able to.
Thank you both for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thanks to Ruper's Beverage and Redemption for sponsoring today's episode. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam Ashby via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.